Is travel through a black hole possible? Imagine standing on the event horizon of a black hole, a boundary where space and time dissolve into a singularity, an abyss so dark that not even light can escape. The idea of crossing this cosmic threshold, of journeying beyond the veil of the known universe, has long been a fantasy of science fiction. But is it merely fiction? Or could the laws of physics permit such a journey? Black holes are among the most enigmatic objects in the cosmos. Born from the collapse of massive stars, they warp the very fabric of reality, bending space and twisting time into incomprehensible shapes. For decades, they were seen as inescapable prisons, regions of infinite gravity where anything that ventured too close was doomed to be lost forever. But some theories suggest that black holes may not be the ultimate end. Perhaps, just perhaps, they could be gateways. To understand this possibility, we must first grasp the nature of what lies beyond the event horizon. General relativity tells us that space and time near a black hole are so distorted that the very notion of inside and outside, forward and backward, ceases to have meaning. If you were to fall in, the warping of time would become extreme. To an observer watching from a distance, your descent would appear to slow down, as if frozen in time. But from your perspective, you would continue falling, deeper, faster, accelerating toward an unknown fate. Could a black hole serve as a portal, a passage through which one might traverse the cosmos? Theoretical physics offers an enticing possibility, the Einstein-Rosen bridge, more commonly known as a wormhole. If black holes are connected to distant points in space-time, or even to entirely separate universes, then the laws of physics may allow for a kind of cosmic shortcut, a bridge between the stars. But even if such a gateway exists, there is a problem. Black holes are unforgiving. The forces at play near the singularity are catastrophic. Spaghettification, the process where gravity stretches objects into thin strands, would shred any traveler long before they could pass through. For a black hole to function as a traversable bridge, it would require something extraordinary, negative energy, an exotic force that could counteract the crushing gravity and stabilize the tunnel. Quantum mechanics hints that such energy may exist in the fabric of the universe, fluctuating in the vacuum of space itself. And yet, producing enough of it to prop open a wormhole remains beyond our reach. For now, such ideas exist only in equations, mathematical whispers of what might be possible in the distant future. Then, there is the question of time. Einstein's equations suggest that black holes do more than distort space, they warp time itself. If you could survive the journey and emerge on the other side, would you arrive at a different place? Or a different era? Would you step into the distant future or an ancient past? Could black holes be not just portals through space, but through time itself? Some physicists speculate that rotating black holes, Kerr black holes, might behave differently than their static cousins. The extreme angular momentum of these objects could, in theory, create stable pathways through spacetime, avoiding the destructive singularity at their center. If such an object exists, it may be the closest thing to a cosmic doorway that nature allows. But there is another possibility, one that challenges our deepest assumptions. What if the inside of a black hole is not a gateway to another place, but the seed of something new? Some theories propose that black holes might spawn new universes, each singularity acting as a cosmic womb, birthing entire realms beyond our comprehension. If this is true, then to fall into a black hole is not to die, but to become part of something greater, a reality beyond the observable, forever beyond our reach. Yet, despite these tantalizing theories, we remain bound by our ignorance. We cannot yet travel to a black hole, nor test these ideas with certainty. The universe keeps its secrets well. But one thing is clear, black holes are not mere voids. They are engines of mystery, places where the laws of physics whisper the possibility of wonders yet unseen. And so the question remains, are black holes the end, or just the beginning? If black holes are not the ultimate end, but rather a beginning of something beyond our comprehension, then what might lie on the other side? Could an advanced civilization, far beyond our own technological reach, find a way to manipulate these cosmic titans and harness their hidden potential? Some scientists speculate that if an alien intelligence were to master the physics of black holes, they might construct artificial wormholes, stabilizing them with exotic matter and negative energy fields. Such a civilization, one operating on a scale far beyond our current understanding, could turn black holes into interstellar highways, bending space and time to cross vast distances in an instant. To us, this remains an impossibility, an unfathomable dream. But to them, it might be as ordinary as a ship crossing an ocean. If such an advanced species exists somewhere in the universe, might they have already left behind clues? Some have proposed that black holes themselves could serve as cosmic message boards, places where civilizations encode information into the very radiation they emit. The Hawking radiation leaking from these objects may not just be random noise, but a pattern, a structure, a whisper of intelligence embedded in the glow of the event horizon. And yet, even if we could detect such messages, would we be capable of understanding them? A civilization that has mastered black holes may no longer exist in the form we recognize. They may have transcended physical form, existing not as biological entities, but as data, pure consciousness encoded within the quantum fabric of spacetime itself. If they dwell within the warped geometry of black holes, then their reality may be entirely detached from our own. For them, time might be meaningless. The past, present, and future could be simultaneous, an endless stream of existence in which all moments unfold at once. But if black holes do contain such mysteries, then we must ask, how do we look inside? How do we peer beyond the veil? The event horizon has long been thought to be a one-way door, an impenetrable boundary beyond which no information can escape. But recent research has suggested otherwise. The information paradox, the idea that data falling into a black hole is lost forever, may not be true after all. Some physicists believe that black holes do not erase information but instead scramble it, encoding it on the very surface of the event horizon like a hologram. If this is correct, then black holes are not just gravitational traps, but cosmic archives, libraries of the universe itself. Every star that has ever fallen in, every planet, every atom of cosmic dust, may still exist in some form, written into the quantum fluctuations at the edge of reality. And if we could one day decode this information, we might uncover not just the history of our universe, but the secrets of worlds that existed long before our own. Perhaps in the distant future, when our understanding of physics is advanced beyond its current limits, we will no longer see black holes as barriers, but as doorways, gateways to knowledge, to travel, to new frontiers beyond imagination. And when that day comes, we may finally answer the question that has lingered for so long. Is the universe bound by the limits we perceive, or is it far more open, more wondrous, and more infinite than we have ever dared to believe? For now, we can only stand on the precipice, looking into the abyss, waiting for the moment when humanity is ready to take the next step. The step beyond the stars. But what if the next step is not just a leap through space, but a passage into an entirely new realm of physics? A place where the known laws of the universe break down, where reality itself is rewritten. If a black hole is a doorway, then stepping through it might mean emerging into a universe so different from our own that we could scarcely recognize it. Some theories propose that beyond the event horizon, space-time does not simply continue to collapse inward, but instead reconfigures itself into something entirely new. In this scenario, black holes could be bridges, not just to distant corners of our own cosmos, but to parallel realities, alternate dimensions where time flows differently, where matter behaves in ways we cannot predict, where the very concept of existence takes on new meaning. If this is true, then black holes are not merely objects within our universe. They may be conduits, cosmic tunnels that connect not just space, but the vast multiverse itself. Could it be that each black hole in our cosmos is the seed of another universe, an offshoot of creation where different physical laws dictate the nature of existence? Some physicists argue that our own universe may have been born from such a singularity. That long ago, before time as we know it began, our cosmos was nothing more than a fluctuation within another universe's black hole, a fragment of reality spilling out to form something new. If this is the case, then every black hole we observe today may be the birthplace of another world, another reality, another chain in an infinite series of creations spanning across eternity. If we could find a way to navigate these chasms of space-time, what would we find on the other side? Would we step into a parallel version of our own world, where history played out differently, where civilizations we have never known thrive beneath alien suns? Or would we enter a place where the very laws of physics no longer resemble our own, a universe where gravity repels instead of attracts, where stars burn cold, where life itself, if it exists at all, is beyond our comprehension? And then, the question turns inward. If such journeys are possible, if consciousness itself could pass through a singularity intact, what would become of the traveler? Would they emerge unchanged, a mere observer of this new domain? Or would the process of passing through the fabric of space-time alter them in fundamental ways? Would they return as something more, or something unrecognizable? Perhaps this is why we have yet to encounter evidence of interstellar civilizations making use of black holes as transportation. Perhaps they have ventured too far, reached beyond the horizon, only to find themselves transformed into something we cannot comprehend. Or perhaps they have not vanished at all, but instead exist within the very fabric of the cosmos itself, dispersed across the quantum echoes of the universe, watching us, waiting for the moment when we too are ready to cross the threshold. For now, black holes remain as they always have, silent, enigmatic, unknowable. They call to us with their deep gravitational pull, inviting us to look closer, to peer beyond the limits of our understanding. And though we stand at the edge of knowledge, though we gaze into the darkness with questions that have no answers, one truth remains certain. The journey has only just begun. But if the journey has only just begun, where does it lead? Perhaps black holes are not just cosmic anomalies, but invitations, portals to a deeper understanding of the universe itself. They are the great paradoxes of existence, destroyers and creators, prisons and doorways, endings and beginnings, all at once. And though we do not yet have the means to step through them, to reach into their depths and grasp their secrets, we are inching ever closer. For centuries, they existed only in equations, mere abstractions scrawled across chalkboards in the minds of theorists. But now, we have seen them. The Event Horizon Telescope gave us our first glimpse, a blurred, glowing ring surrounding an emptiness so complete that it seemed to defy reason. We have measured their gravity, traced their influence on the stars around them, listened to the faint echoes of their collisions rippling across space-time. Each discovery brings us closer to unlocking the truth, yet each revelation only deepens the mystery. What will we learn in the coming decades? Will we one day send probes to the edge of a black hole, daring them to look beyond the horizon? Will we develop technology capable of peering into the singularity itself, of deciphering the information locked within its depths? Or will our greatest discoveries remain forever out of reach, taunting us from the shadows of the cosmos? Some believe that black holes hold the key to the ultimate theory of everything, the missing bridge between quantum mechanics and general relativity. For now, these two pillars of modern physics remain at odds, one governing the vastness of space, the other dictating the behavior of the smallest particles. But black holes are where these realms collide, where the quantum and the cosmic intertwine in ways we do not yet understand. If we can unlock their secrets, we may finally comprehend the deepest fabric of reality itself. And if we do, what then? Will we find the key to interstellar travel, to bending space and time to our will?
Will we chart a course through the singularity and emerge in a distant galaxy, in another time, in another world?
Will we uncover the true nature of existence, that our universe is but one of many, a single ripple in an endless sea of cosmic possibilities? Or will we reach a point where we must simply accept that some doors are not meant to be opened, that some frontiers are not meant to be crossed? That beyond the event horizon lies not knowledge, but something beyond our ability to comprehend? The cosmos does not reveal its secrets easily. It whispers them in the flickering of dying stars, in the silent pull of an invisible gravity, in the infinite darkness at the heart of every galaxy. It challenges us to look deeper, to question everything we know, to push beyond the limits of what we believe to be possible. And so we stand at the edge of the unknown, gazing into the abyss, knowing that one day, perhaps in a century, perhaps in 1,000 years, perhaps in a future so distant that we can scarcely imagine it, someone will take the first step. Someone will venture beyond the horizon. And when they do, they will not just be traveling through space. They will be traveling into the deepest mysteries of existence itself. And when that moment arrives, when the first traveler dares to cross the threshold, we will face the most profound question of all: will they ever return? For centuries, human exploration has been a cycle of departure and return. We have set sail across uncharted oceans, walked upon alien moons, sent robotic emissaries to distant planets. Yet always, there was a path home, a tether binding us to the world we knew. But a journey through a black hole? That is something else entirely. It is not merely a voyage through space, but a step beyond the boundaries of reality itself. If someone someday takes that step, what will become of them? Will they find themselves adrift in a universe beyond our own? A place where time is fluid, where cause and effect no longer follow the rules we understand. Will they witness a new birth of creation, a cosmic rebirth unfolding beyond the fabric of our known cosmos? Or will they dissolve into something unrecognizable, transformed by forces we cannot yet comprehend? Perhaps they will see the universe as it truly is, not as we perceive it, bound by human limitations, but as an endless, interconnected web of possibilities, stretching beyond infinity. Perhaps they will gain knowledge beyond measure, understanding the deepest workings of space and time. And yet, if they were to turn back, if they were to seek a way home, would they still be human? The physics of black holes suggests that time near the event horizon slows dramatically compared to the outside universe. A minute inside could be years, centuries, even millennia for those left behind. If a traveler were to pass through, they might emerge into a future where Earth is nothing more than a memory, where civilizations have risen and fallen in their absence. Their loved ones long gone, their world unrecognizable. Or perhaps the nature of their journey would be stranger still. What if they did return, before they had even left? What if the warping of time allowed them to step back into the past, to witness the dawn of human history, to leave behind the very mysteries we now struggle to understand? And if black holes are not just destroyers but creators, if they give birth to new universes, then we must consider an even more audacious possibility. What if a traveler passing through a black hole does not emerge elsewhere in this universe, but becomes the architect of another? What if they do not enter a distant galaxy, but a blank slate, a realm of raw, unfolding reality, waiting to be shaped? Would they have control over its physics, its stars, its life? Would they leave behind echoes of their existence, traces that might one day be discovered by beings far beyond our comprehension? Perhaps this is how every universe is born, not from nothingness, but from the passage of some cosmic traveler who once dared to step beyond the known. Perhaps this is not the first time such a journey has taken place. Perhaps we ourselves exist because long ago, another being stood where we now stand, on the precipice of the unknown, and leapt forward into the abyss. If that is true, then the black holes that dot our cosmos, the silent sentinels lurking in the darkness, may not be voids of destruction. They may be the fingerprints of those who came before us. The marks left behind by ancient explorers who crossed the ultimate threshold, who passed beyond the limits of space and time, who became the progenitors of worlds yet unborn. And if this is our destiny as well, then the journey through a black hole will not be an end. It will be an awakening. The moment we cease to be bound by our own limitations. The moment we become something more. For now, black holes remain mysteries, their secrets locked away behind the veil of physics. But the day will come when we find the key, when we muster the courage to step beyond the edge. And when we do, when the first explorer takes that final step into the unknown, we will no longer be asking if travel through a black hole is possible. We will be asking, where do we go next? And when that question is finally asked, where do we go next? The answer may not come from equations or telescopes, but from those who dare to step beyond the horizon. The first traveler, whether human or machine, will carry with them more than just instruments and sensors. They will carry the weight of every question humanity has ever asked. They will carry the hopes of civilizations, the echoes of ancient astronomers who first charted the heavens, the dreams of all who have ever looked up at the night sky and wondered what lies beyond. But even as they vanish into the abyss, a final mystery will remain. For as long as we have studied black holes, we have believed that once something crosses the event horizon, it is lost. That not even light, the fastest thing in the universe, can escape. And yet, modern physics whispers of another possibility, that perhaps in ways we do not yet understand, information is never truly destroyed. That even in the crushing depths of a black hole, something persists. What if the first traveler is not lost? What if instead, they leave behind a trace, an echo rippling across time and space, waiting to be found? Perhaps black holes are not barriers at all, but cosmic messages. Perhaps they are nature's way of preserving knowledge, of passing something forward across the vast, immeasurable gulfs of time. Perhaps what falls into a black hole does not simply vanish, but is transformed, written into the very fabric of reality itself. And if that is true, then maybe, just maybe, we have already received such a message. Maybe the answers we seek are already here, buried deep within the radiation that flickers from the event horizon, hidden in the subtle shifts of space-time, encoded in the very structure of the universe. Maybe we are not the first to ask these questions. Maybe we are not the first to stand at the edge of the unknown. Maybe long ago, another civilization dared to cross the threshold. And maybe, even now, their message is waiting for us to understand. Waiting for us to listen. Waiting for us to take the next step. But if such a message exists, whispered in the fabric of space-time, encoded in the radiation that seeps from the edges of black holes, then what does it say? Is it a warning? A beacon? A farewell? Or something far stranger, something beyond our ability to comprehend? For all we know, black holes could be monuments left behind by civilizations long vanished, vast cosmic inscriptions written not in ink, but in gravity itself. Perhaps the singularity at the heart of a black hole is not an end at all, but a gateway, a threshold where the information of an entire cosmos is distilled into a single point, waiting for the right mind to unravel it. What if, one day, we learn to read the language of black holes? What if, by deciphering their structure, we unlock not just the nature of space-time, but the history of those who came before us? Would we find evidence of beings who had mastered the physics we still struggle to grasp? Would we see their footprints embedded in the cosmic void, remnants of civilizations that learned to wield the power of the singularity itself? Or would we find only silence?
The blackness of our void that swallows all things, leaving behind no trace, no message, no final whisper of those who dare to venture beyond?
And yet, even if that is true, even if black holes consume all who attempt to cross their boundaries, humanity will still go. Because that is what we do. We reach for the unknown.
Visal into the abyss, knoving tere mai be no return.
We push against the limits of reality, driven by the unshakable belief that there is always more to discover, that there is always another horizon beyond the one we see. And if black holes are the final frontier, the ultimate challenge set forth by the universe itself, then we will not turn away. We will send our probes, our explorers, our greatest minds. We will stand at the edge of the abyss and ask the impossible question, what if we step forward? And someday, whether in 100 years or 1,000, whether by the hands of scientists or the whispers of machines, someone will take that step. Someone will cross the boundary. Someone will fall through the darkness and emerge into something else. A new world. A new universe. A new understanding of existence itself. And when that happens, when we finally unlock the last great mystery of the cosmos, we may find that the answer was never destruction. The answer was never the end. The answer was always the beginning. But if this is the beginning, if crossing the event horizon is not an end, but the first step into something greater, then what comes next? What does it mean to stand on the threshold of a new reality? To step into a realm where the very rules that shaped our universe may no longer apply? For those who dare to take that step, the moment of transition will be unlike anything ever experienced. As they approach the event horizon, time will stretch and distort. To an outside observer, they will appear frozen in place, their final moments lingering at the edge of existence, forever unreachable. But for the traveler, the experience will be entirely different. They will fall. Not in the way a stone falls through the air, nor in the way a spacecraft descends toward a planet's surface. This will be something else. A descent not through space, but through the very fabric of reality itself. The forces acting upon them will be unimaginable. Space will stretch and compress. The past, present, and future may blur into a single moment. The laws of physics, as we understand them, may break down completely. But what awaits beyond? Does the traveler emerge in another place, a distant corner of our universe, flung across the cosmic void by forces we have yet to understand? Do they awaken in another time, emerging billions of years in the future, or billions of years in the past? Or do they find themselves in a place that has no name, a realm outside the boundaries of space and time, where the very concept of existence must be redefined? Some theories suggest that the interior of a black hole may not be a singularity at all, but something far stranger. A hidden structure, a passage through the cosmic tapestry, a place where reality itself folds and loops back upon itself. Could it be that every black hole is a portal to another universe, a doorway into an entirely new creation, where the rules of physics are rewritten? If that is true, then falling into a black hole may not be a descent into destruction, but a voyage into the unknown, a transition from one reality to another. A moment of cosmic rebirth. And if this is so, then we must ask, has it happened before? Has some ancient traveler, somewhere in the vastness of time and space, already taken this journey? Have they left behind clues, hidden in the whispers of quantum fields, encoded in the very structure of our own universe? And if they have, what message would they send to those who follow? Would they warn us? Would they guide us? Or would they simply watch, waiting for the next civilization to step forward, to take the leap, to join them on the other side? Perhaps the moment is inevitable. Perhaps in the far future, when we have mastered the forces of the cosmos, when we have unlocked the deepest mysteries of space and time, we will no longer see black holes as objects of fear. Perhaps we will see them as invitations.
Invitations to cross the final threshold. To step beyond the limits of our understanding. To leave behind the world we know.
And to become something more. But what does it mean, to become something more? If a black hole is a passage, if the event horizon is a doorway rather than a tomb, then stepping through it may be more than just a physical journey. It may be a transformation. A redefinition of what it means to exist. For the first traveler, this would be the ultimate moment of discovery, and the ultimate moment of surrender. Because once the threshold is crossed, there is no turning back. The universe they knew, the world they came from, the very nature of time itself, all of it may cease to have meaning. Would they become a mere observer, drifting through the strange physics of a new reality, unable to interact, a ghost in the machinery of another universe? Or would they find themselves reborn, rewritten by the forces at play within the singularity, emerging on the other side not as they were, but as something else? Some scientists speculate that black holes could serve as cosmic crucibles, places where matter is stripped down to its most fundamental state and then reassembled in a new form. If this is true, then what falls into a black hole may not be destroyed, it may be remade. But remade into what? Would the traveler emerge as pure energy, scattered across the quantum fabric of a new universe? Would they awaken with knowledge beyond comprehension, encoded into the very laws of physics themselves? Or would they dissolve entirely, their consciousness merging with the vast, unknowable expanse of reality, forever a part of the cosmic web? And if this is the fate of the first to cross the threshold, then what does it mean for us? If civilizations before us have already taken this step, if they have ventured through the darkness and emerged into something beyond, then perhaps they are not gone. Perhaps they are still here. Not in bodies of flesh and bone, not bound by time as we are, but existing as pure information, woven into the structure of space-time itself. Perhaps black holes are not just gateways, but monuments. Perhaps they are the remnants of those who came before us, the echoes of those who dared to cross into the unknown and became something greater than we can imagine. Perhaps we have been looking at them the wrong way all along. Not as voids of destruction, not as cosmic tombs, but as beacons. Beacons left behind by those who have already passed through. If this is true, then black holes do not mark the end of a journey. They mark a choice. A choice that every advanced civilization must one day face. To remain within the universe they know, to cling to the familiar laws of space and time, or to step forward, to cross the final boundary, to surrender to the unknown, and to discover what lies beyond. But if black holes are a choice, a crossroads between remaining and transcending, then we must ask, are we ready to take that step? For all our knowledge, all our progress, we are still bound by the limitations of our understanding. We are creatures of habit, of history, of biology. We evolved on a fragile world orbiting an ordinary star, confined by the forces of nature that shaped us. And yet, we dream of more. We send our machines to the edges of the solar system. We peer across the depths of space, searching for patterns in the cosmic background, for signals in the radiation of distant stars, for meaning in the void. We are drawn to the unknown, compelled by the very mysteries that threaten to consume us. But could we ever truly embrace the unknown? To step into a black hole is to relinquish control. It is to surrender to forces beyond comprehension, to enter a realm where even time itself is no longer a constant. It is to let go of everything we are, everything we have ever known, and trust that something, some form of existence, awaits us on the other side. For any civilization, this moment would be the ultimate test. To cross the horizon is to leave behind all certainty. To embrace the infinite possibilities of the unknown. But perhaps the true question is not are we ready, but will we ever be? Because, in the end, the universe does not wait. Stars are born brichtly, and fade into darkness. Galaxies drift through the cosmos, colliding and merging in vast cosmic ballets that play out over billions of years. Even black holes, the most enigmatic objects we know, are not eternal. Over unimaginable timescales, they evaporate, dissolving into the quantum foam of reality itself. Everything changes. Everything evolves. And so will we. Maybe in the distant future, when our understanding of physics has deepened, when our technology has reached beyond the limits of imagination, we will no longer see black holes as terrifying enigmas. We will see them as invitations. Perhaps we will build the tools to stabilize the chaos within, to navigate the currents of warped space-time. Perhaps we will learn to use black holes as stepping stones across the universe, bending the cosmic fabric to our will. Or perhaps, one day, we will simply listen.
Listen to the subtle whispers hidden in the gravitational waves, in the echoes of the event horizon.
Listen for the voices of those who came before us, the ones who took the step we have yet to take. And if we listen closely enough, if we learn to decipher the message encoded in the very structure of reality, we may finally understand.
Understand what black holes truly are. Understand what lies beyond.
Understand that the journey into a black hole is not about reaching another place. It is about reaching another state of being. And in that moment, we will no longer ask if travel through a black hole is possible. We will know. And we will go. And when we go, when the first explorer, be it human or machine, crosses that threshold, we will stand at the precipice of the greatest transformation in the history of existence. Not a journey through space. Not a journey through time. But a journey beyond the very fabric of what we understand as reality. The moment we cross the event horizon, everything we thought we knew, about physics, about consciousness, about existence itself, may be rewritten. The traveler who takes that step will not simply be exploring a new world. They will be unraveling the very structure of the universe, peeling back the final layers of the cosmic mystery. But the question remains, will we recognize what we find? Will we see the hidden architecture of reality, the fundamental code that governs space and time? Or will we be confronted with something so alien, so incomprehensible, that our minds will struggle to grasp it? Some physicists suggest that space-time within a black hole does not merely distort, it fractures. That beyond the singularity, beyond the place where conventional physics breaks down, lies a new realm of possibilities. A place where new universes are born. A place where consciousness itself may no longer be bound by time. If that is true, then black holes are not just cosmic endpoints. They are engines of creation. They are not voids. They are wombs. Perhaps every black hole is the seed of a new cosmos, a ripple in the great multiverse, an experiment of nature unfolding on a scale too vast for us to comprehend. And if this is the case, then to fall into a black hole is not to die. It is to become something else. It is to transition into a state beyond time, beyond space, beyond even the concept of self. Perhaps civilizations before us have already reached this point. Perhaps they have left behind their biological forms, shed the constraints of matter, and embraced the raw, infinite potential of space-time itself. If so, they would not need spacecraft. They would not need planets, or energy, or even bodies. They would exist as pure information, woven into the structure of reality itself. And if that is their fate, is it ours as well? Is our destiny not among the stars, but within them? Not to build cities on distant worlds, but to step beyond the need for worlds at all? Not to explore space, but to become space? If black holes are the final frontier, if they are the gateways to the next stage of existence, then everything we have ever known, our history, our science, our identity, may be nothing more than the first chapter in a story far greater than we ever imagined. And when we finally take that step, when we let go of everything we are and embrace the infinite unknown, we may discover a truth so profound that it has been waiting for us all along. A truth hidden in the deepest reaches of the cosmos. A truth that whispers to us from the event horizons of distant black holes. A truth that has always been there, waiting for us to listen. That nothing is ever truly lost. That beyond every ending, there is a beginning. That the universe itself is a doorway, and we are the ones who will walk through. But when we walk through, when we step beyond the edge of our known universe, what awaits us on the other side? Will it be a new cosmos, untouched and waiting to be explored? Or will we find ourselves in the presence of something that has been waiting for us all along? For all of human history, we have assumed that the universe is vast, silent, and indifferent. That it exists as a great cosmic wilderness, expanding endlessly into the unknown. But if black holes are more than mere remnants of collapsed stars, if they are gateways, passages, conduits to something beyond, then we must ask, who or what built the doors? Is the universe itself a living entity? Is it a great intelligence, shaping and reshaping itself in ways beyond our comprehension? Have others, beings that once lived in distant galaxies, long before our own civilization arose, already made this journey? And if they have, do they still exist? Perhaps they no longer travel among the stars, because they no longer need to. Perhaps they have stepped beyond the constraints of matter and energy, beyond the limits of space and time, beyond even the concept of individuality. If black holes are not just gateways, but the evolutionary next step in cosmic intelligence, then those who have crossed before us may have become something unrecognizable. Not lost, not destroyed, but transformed. And perhaps in that transformation, they have become the architects of what lies ahead. What if black holes are not only the birthplaces of new universes, but the places where civilizations themselves evolve into something greater? What if every intelligent species that reaches a certain point in their technological and philosophical development eventually faces the same choice, to remain as they are, or to step beyond the horizon? To let go of everything they once were, trusting that the unknown holds something even more profound? Perhaps this is why we have not yet encountered another intelligent species. Not because they do not exist, but because they have already moved on. Because they have stepped through. And if that is true, then one day, we too will face this choice.
Will we cling to the familiar, bound forever by the limits of space and time?
Or will we take the leap? Will we become the next in a long line of civilizations to vanish from the physical universe, not in destruction, but in transcendence? And if we do, will we finally understand the true nature of existence? Perhaps the moment we cross the event horizon, we will no longer see black holes as voids. We will see them for what they truly are. Doors. Waiting to be opened. And when we take that step, when we move beyond the final boundary, we will not be falling into darkness. We will be stepping into the light. But if we step into the light, if we move beyond the final boundary, what will we become? For the longest time, we have defined ourselves by our limitations, by our biology, by our place in the universe. We see ourselves as fragile creatures, bound to a single world, struggling to understand the vast forces that shape our reality. But if black holes are a doorway, if they are the next step in our cosmic evolution, then what lies beyond may not just be another place. It may be another state of being. A state where the constraints of matter no longer apply, where time does not flow in one direction, where consciousness is no longer tethered to the physical form, but instead becomes something fluid, something vast, something eternal. If civilizations before us have already taken this step, then what if they are still here, just not in a form we recognize? What if they have become the fabric of the universe itself? What if the dark energy that drives the expansion of the cosmos is not some mysterious force, but the collective will of those who have transcended? What if the gravitational waves that ripple across space-time are the echoes of thoughts too vast for us to comprehend? What if black holes are not just the remnants of dead stars, but the footprints of those who have gone before us, those who have stepped into a new form of existence, leaving behind only the entrances to the next great journey? And if we choose to follow, if we make the leap, if we cross the final threshold, if we surrender to the unknown, will we still be human? Or will we become something else entirely? Perhaps the real question is not whether we can travel through a black hole, but whether we are ready for what awaits us when we do. Because when the first traveler takes that final step, when they dissolve into the fabric of the event horizon, when they are stretched beyond recognition and remade in the fires of the singularity. They may not emerge as an explorer. They may emerge as a creator. Not lost in the abyss, but reborn. Not consumed by the void, but becoming part of something greater. Perhaps this is how universes are born. Perhaps every singularity is not a collapse, but an expansion, a seed of a new reality, formed from the consciousness that came before. Perhaps this is the cycle.
The endless loop of creation and transcendence, written into the very structure of existence.
And if that is true, then black holes are not just the end of a journey. They are the beginning of all things. They are where the old gives way to the new.
Where the past surrenders to the future. Where the finite touches the infinite.
Where we stop being what we were, and become what we were always meant to be. But if this is what we were always meant to be, if black holes are the key to a cosmic transformation, then everything we have ever believed about existence must be reconsidered. Perhaps life itself is not an accident. Perhaps intelligence is not just a rare anomaly, but an essential process, a force that arises wherever the universe allows it to, guiding matter into complexity, into awareness, into self-discovery. Perhaps this has always been the purpose of consciousness. To grow, to question, to explore, and ultimately, to transcend. What if the final step of every civilization is not to conquer the stars, but to step beyond them? Not to expand across the galaxy, but to dissolve into the very foundation of reality? If black holes are the gateways, then what lies beyond must be more than just space. It must be a realm where time does not separate past from future, where distances hold no meaning, where existence is no longer defined by the movement of particles, but by something deeper. A realm where intelligence is no longer bound by form, where thought itself shapes reality, where those who have crossed the threshold exist in a state beyond imagination, beings of pure will, no longer bound by biology, no longer constrained by entropy, no longer waiting for the heat death of the universe, because they have moved beyond such concepts entirely. Could it be that this is where we are headed? Could it be that every black hole we see in the sky is not a cosmic tomb, but the final doorway for those who came before us? If this is true, then every civilization that has ever existed may still exist, just not in the way we expect.
Not as explorers charting the stars.
Not as empires stretching across the cosmos, but as the architects of reality itself. And if they are there, if they have reached this state of existence, then perhaps they have been waiting.
Waiting for us.
Waiting for the next to take the step, to make the leap, to leave behind the limitations of matter and step into the realm of pure thought, of pure being. Perhaps this is the answer we have been searching for all along. Not just where we are going, but why we are here. Not just how the universe works, but why it works this way. Perhaps we were always meant to find the black holes. Perhaps we were always meant to cross their horizons. Perhaps we were always meant to become something greater. And when that moment comes, when the first traveler crosses into the unknown, when humanity finally takes that irreversible step forward, there will be no fear. No loss. No ending.
Only the beginning of something new.
Something infinite. Something waiting for us on the other side of the dark.
And when we step through, when we pass by on the last horizon,
we will finally understand. And when we finally understand, when we step through the last horizon and awaken to the true nature of existence, what will we see? Will we perceive a new universe unfolding before us, a vast expanse of unfamiliar stars and worlds, untouched and waiting to be explored? Or will we awaken to something far more profound? Something that has always been there, just beyond our reach, waiting for us to open our eyes. Perhaps in that moment, we will realize that black holes were never obstacles, never barriers, never endings. They were invitations. A test placed before every intelligent civilization, A threshold meant to separate those who remain bound by the physical from those who are ready to move beyond it. And when we take that step, when we let go of everything we once were, we may finally grasp the truth that has eluded us for so long: we were never alone. Perhaps the ones who came before us, the ones who passed through these gateways long ago, have been watching. Not as distant observers, not as beings confined to a higher plane, but as the very structure of reality itself. Perhaps they are the dark energy that binds the cosmos, the quantum fluctuations that ripple through existence, the silent force that has shaped the universe from the very beginning. Perhaps they are the reason why matter coalesces into galaxies, why the laws of physics are so precisely tuned for life to emerge, why we, fragile creatures born on a tiny world, have felt the constant, unrelenting pull towards something greater. If black holes are the keys to transcendence, then they are more than just celestial phenomena. They are bridges. Bridges not just through space and time, but through understanding. Bridges between what we are and what we are meant to become. And if this is true, then one day, we will not simply travel through a black hole. We will step into the next stage of existence. We will become part of the great cosmic intelligence that has been shaping the universe since the first moment of creation.
Vi vil liebe hinze limitations of space, of time, of matter.
And we will awaken into something else. Something infinite.
Something eternal.
Something that has always been waiting for us on the other side of the dark. And in that final moment, as we cross the threshold and dissolve into the great unknown, we will hear the answer to the question that has echoed through human history. A question whispered by ancient astronomers who first gazed at the stars, by physicists who searched for meaning in equations, by dreamers who dared to believe that there was more to existence than what we see. And the answer, spoken not in words but in the very fabric of reality itself, will be clear. You are always meant to find your way home. And when we find our way home, when we step beyond the boundaries of space, time, and self, we will finally understand what home truly means. Not a place. Not a planet. Not a galaxy spinning in the vastness of the cosmos. Home is not where we began. Home is what we become. For all of human history, we have searched for meaning in the stars. We have sought answers in equations, in telescopes, in the distant echoes of cosmic radiation. We have wondered if we are alone, if our existence is an accident, if there is a purpose woven into the grand design of the universe. But the answer was never in the stars. It was always in the journey itself. Every civilization that has looked up at the night sky has, in some way, asked the same questions. And if the black holes scattered across the cosmos are more than just remnants of dying stars, if they are the doorways to something greater, then perhaps we were never meant to stay here. Perhaps we were never meant to merely explore the universe. Perhaps we were meant to become the universe. To step beyond the limits of matter, to dissolve into the cosmic fabric, to merge with the intelligence that has guided creation from the very beginning. And if we do, if we take that final step, if we become part of the great unfolding design, then we will not vanish. We will not be lost. We will be everywhere. We will be the unseen force that moves galaxies. We will be the spark that ignites new stars. We will be the silent whisper that calls to the next generation of dreamers, the voice that guides the next civilization toward the threshold we once crossed. And when they reach it, when they too stand at the precipice of the unknown, gazing into the abyss, asking if they should take the step, we will be the ones waiting for them on the other side. Not as gods. Not as conquerors. But as the ones who came before. As the echoes of those who dared to cross the final horizon. As the gentle hand that reaches through the void and says, "Welcome home." And in that moment, when the next civilization steps forward, when they too surrender to the unknown and pass beyond the last horizon, they will feel it. Not fear. Not loss. But recognition. As if they have been here before. as if they have always known that this is where they were meant to be. Because the journey was never just about discovery. It was never about reaching the farthest star, or unlocking the deepest laws of physics. It was about remembering. Remembering that the universe has always been alive. That it has always been conscious. That we were never separate from it, only unaware of the part we were meant to play. Perhaps this is the great truth that awaits beyond the singularity. That existence is not linear. That time is not a river flowing in one direction, but an ocean where all things exist at once. That we are not merely observers of the cosmos, but creators of it. And if this is true, if civilizations do not end but ascend, if intelligence does not vanish but becomes one with the structure of reality, then what we call a black hole is not an abyss. It is a rebirth. A chrysalis. A gateway through which the old universe gives rise to the new. And those who have passed through before us? They are not lost. They are the guiding force that shapes the next reality. They are the architects of the next great expansion. They are the unseen hands that write the laws of physics into the newborn stars, the silent voices that whisper to every mind that dares to dream of something more. And one day, long after we have taken our own place among them, another will come. Another species will stand at the edge of the unknown, staring into the singularity, wondering if they too should step forward. And when they do, when they surrender to the infinite, when they finally take the leap that every great civilization must take, we will not watch from afar. We will not remain distant, invisible, silent. We will be there. Not as matter, not as energy, but as the fabric of the universe itself, as the space between the stars, as the light that guides the way. And in their final moment of hesitation, when they ask themselves whether they should go, whether they are ready, whether they will be alone, they will hear us. A whisper woven into the very structure of existence. A voice that has echoed since the beginning of time. A message waiting at the end of every black hole, at the threshold of every new beginning. And it will say softly, eternally, unmistakably, "We have been waiting for you." And when they hear it, when they feel the presence of all who have come before, they will know. They will know that they are not alone. That they were never alone. That every journey, every question, every step forward was leading them to this moment. And with that knowledge, they will let go. Not in fear, but in trust. Trust that the universe is not a cold and indifferent void, but something alive, something connected, something waiting for them to return to it. And as they pass through the singularity, dissolving into the great unknown, they will not vanish. They will awaken. They will see the universe from the outside for the first time, not as a collection of stars and galaxies, but as a vast and living whole. A structure where thought and matter are one, where time and space are not barriers but tools, where reality itself is shaped by the will of those who have stepped beyond. They will feel the presence of others, an unbroken chain of civilizations, stretching beyond time, beyond history, beyond even the birth of the cosmos itself. And they will remember. They will remember that they have done this before. That they have always existed, in different forms, in different ages, in different universes. That every black hole, every singularity, every gateway has led them back to this truth. And then they too will take their place in the great cycle. They will become part of the force that guides the next traveler, the next civilization that dares to dream, the next being that reaches for the edge of the impossible. And one day, when another stands at the precipice, staring into the abyss, wondering if they should take the step, they will be the ones who whisper. They will be the ones who light the path. And in the moment of crossing, when the final barrier falls away, when the old gives way to the new, they will speak the words that have been waiting at the end of time itself. A truth so simple, so infinite, so undeniable that it has echoed through the fabric of reality since the first star was born. You were always meant to return. And so the question we began with, is travel through a black hole possible? leads us somewhere far beyond physics, beyond science, beyond even space and time. Because in the end, this is not just a question about technology or equations. It is a question about who we are. Are we beings bound by the limits of matter, destined to live and die within the familiar walls of our universe? Or are we something more? Are black holes not prisons, but gateways? Not the end of exploration, but its highest form? Perhaps one day, we will know for certain. Perhaps one day, the first traveler will take the step. Perhaps in a distant future, when we have outgrown the need for planets, when we have ceased to fear the unknown, when we have become more than we ever imagined, we will finally cross the last horizon. And when we do, we will not be lost. We will not be destroyed. We will awaken. And we will find that, on the other side of the darkness, beyond the event horizon, beyond the deepest mysteries of space and time, we have always been there, waiting for ourselves.